A Long Island family endured the unspeakable loss of a child. 11-year-old DJ Woods was born with a heart defect and received a heart transplant. But after fighting hard against complications following that transplant, he died in 2023.
His devastated family had been planning a vacation cruise, but when tragedy struck, they canceled their trip, understandably. So they thought that they'd have to fight to get their money back.
All right, so they got Nina Pineda on the case, 7 on their side. And Nina, this story is something that, I mean, everybody can get emotional about.
Of course, and it's truly heartbreaking. And no one can think of, going away on a vacation after enduring something like this.
Right.
The family was just stuck with this entire bill while grieving and trying to pay for a funeral. Daquan fought his congenital defect his entire life, receiving a new heart at just 9 years old. It worked for 2 years. Then, just shy of his 12th birthday, DJ went in for a routine checkup.
When he walked out the door, to go to the hospital in June, never did I think that he was not coming back.
Chris and Jacinta Jones were not just aunt and uncle. They were fostering DJ and his 3 younger siblings, while Chris's sister could temporarily not care for them herself. He was the ultimate big brother.
His last speaking words was, "Are the kids okay?"
DJ died in early July, just 2 days before his foster parents were supposed to set sail on a cruise, a getaway the couple had saved and planned for years. So they called the company, Carnival.
I said, I'm going to be able to go because of the situation. My foster son / nephew passed away, and, I have to plan a funeral.
They were out over $2,000, but almost a year later, still had no reimbursement.
I just felt like they didn't have any compassion or empathy for us.
They say they called and emailed but got nothing. We wrote to Carnival several times, explaining the heartbreaking situation and resending DJ's obituary.
They actually called, I think, the next day.
The next day?
The next day.
We did receive a follow-up email. Management has taken a look and reviewed and agreed to go ahead and process the full refund.
Thank you, 7 on your side.
Love you guys.
I spoke to Jacinta this morning, his foster mom. They plan to use that money to take DJ's siblings on a vacation when the time is right. And they always just said, Chris and Jacinta, you could see how heartbroken they were. DJ, he loved steak, he loved to laugh, and he taught them all how to celebrate, and they're trying to, carry that legacy forward. This is a special situation. We hope it doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen, and 7 on your side has had to step in for illness. I mean, there's been a paralysis, a tragic accidents that people need to cancel. And you should know, if you have to cancel a cruise that's fully paid for and you have a perfectly valid reason, you may not, especially as you get close to departure, be able to cancel. That's because cruise lines that have a very rigid schedule.
Sure.
You can cancel for certain things. If the cruise has to cancel on you, for like weather, a disease, like if they have a norovirus or an issue with the ship or the staff, you should get refunded. Also, if you have a death in the family or mandatory military employment, that will qualify usually. And I'm saying usually because all these depend on the rules of the company. Sure. But what is very important is that you should have a letter of medical necessity. That is really critical. Send it trackable, email it to the company, contact them right away. Because then if they have that letter from the doctor and showing what happened, you're more likely than not to get a refund.
Yeah, and to be fair, the cruise company doesn't know you, they don't know their family, so you do have to have the documentation that you went through what you went through for them. The other thing, what about, I always see this box to tick, like travel insurance, that you have to maybe pay extra for it. Is that something that's worth it? Would it have helped here?
It would have, but some cruise companies like Carnival do not provide insurance to New Yorkers in our area. That's why you have to buy protection from a third-party company.
Got it.
And this is gonna, make sure you're covered regardless of how you travel. Rates vary depending on your age and the cost of a cruise. If you're going on one of those like QE2 really expensive cruises, it's gonna be a percentage of the cost of the cruise. And then also the older you get, the more you are to insure. So it's about, like we said, 3% of the cost. And cancel for any reason insurance is also really pricey, but it is what it says. It's cancel for any reason.
And you get the full money back.
And you don't get the full money back. You get about 75% of it back, but you wind up getting more back than you would have if you didn't have any insurance at all.
Oh, wow. Always good, useful advice. But I want to say, I also appreciate the care you put into these stories and how you hold these families' hands and really get them through some of the worst times of their lives.
And you know, Chris, he hasn't moved anything in DJ's room. He has he loved toy cars. He hasn't been able to, you know, he hasn't been able to move anything. It's just like a memorial to him. Still very fresh. His siblings are back with his sister. They're back at home, so they're not fostering them anymore. But again, with that money, they're going to take the family on vacation.
Thank you for that.
Good for them.
Watch the full story too on ABC 7 NY because yeah, you see those moments. Thank you so
moving.
much.
You're welcome.